devotee. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatajayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktirvoti Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 2, Chapter 1st, the first step in God realization. Shloka 12 and 13. Kim pramattasya bahubhihi. Hare Krishna.
किं प्रमत्तस्य बहुभिः
Parokshe
परोक्षे अर्ह्यन् अरिहः. हरे कृष्णा.
Parokshe ayanehi iha.
परोक्षे हि अयनैः इह
Varam muhurtam
वरं मुहूर्तं
viditam.
विदितं
Ghatate shreyase yatah.
घटते श्रेयसे यतः.
Kṛṣṇa नाम राज ऋषिः
खट्वांग नाम राज ऋषिः
ज्ञात्वा इयत्ताम् इय आयुषः
ज्ञात्वा इहत्ताम् इह आयुषः.
मुहूर्तात् सर्वम् उत्सृज्य
मुहूर्तात् सर्वम् उत्सृज्य
गतवान् अभयम् हरिम्.
गतवान् अभयं हरिम्.
किं प्रमत्तस्य बहुभिः
किं प्रमत्तस्य बहुभिः
परोक्षैः हायनैः इह
परोक्षैः हायनैः इह
वरं मुहूर्तं विदितं
वरं मुहूर्तं विदितं
घटते श्रेयसे यतः.
घटते श्रेयसे यतः.
खट्वांग नाम राज ऋषिः
खट्वांग नाम राज ऋषिः
ज्ञात्वा इयत्ताम् इय आयुषः
ज्ञात्वा इयत्ताम् इह आयुषः.
मुहूर्तात् सर्वम् उत्सृज्य
मुहूर्तात् सर्वम् उत्सृज्य
गतवान् अभयम् हरिम्.
गतवान् अभयं हरिम्.
किं प्रमत्तस्य बहुभिः परोक्षैः आयनैः इह वरं मूर्तं विदितं घटते श्रेयसे यतः. खट्वांग नाम राज ऋषिः ज्ञात्वा इयत्ताम् इह आयुषः मुहूर्तात् सर्वम् उत्सृज्य गतवान् अभयम् हरिम्. हरे
हरे
कृष्ण.
कृष्ण. किं प्रमत्तस्य बहुभिः परोक्षैः हायनैः वरं मुहूर्तं विदितं घटते श्रेयसे यतः. खट्वांगः नाम राजऋषिः ज्ञात्वा यतामिह आयुषः मुहूर्तात् सर्वमुत्सृज्य गतवान् अभयं हरिम्.
Translation and purport by the Śrīla Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted in experienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. The saintly King Khaṭvāṅga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. Purport. Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman in order to encourage the king who had only 7 remaining days of life. Śrīla Śukadeva Gosvāmī asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problems of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. The supreme interest of life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of the material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of the eat, drink, and be merry type of life, are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success, and the exact possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent that we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy name. Śrīla Gosvāmī Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statements in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From Viṣṇu-yāmala Tantra, Śrīla Gosvāmī has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Quoting from the Markandeya Puran, Sri Goswami ji says that one should neither blaspheme the duties of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue, and being unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blaspheming of the duty of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As far as distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose Bhagavad Gita 10.41 that all extraordinary powerful beings are but part and parcel of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna, except for the Lord Himself. Everyone's is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord, since no one's more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord. No one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. Therefore, one should not equalize the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, and or any other powerful God can never be equal to the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize these transcendental potencies of the holy name of the Lord is in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. Such persons are never excused by the Lord or by any agent of the Lord. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of the tree and other living entities who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement. A fully responsible man should always be conscious of the prime duty of the presenting form of life. The activities to meet the immediate necessities of material life are not everything. One should always be alert in his duty for attainment of the best situation in the next life. Human life is meant for preparing ourselves for that prime duty. Maharaj Khaṭvāṅga is mentioned here in as a saintly king because even within the responsibility of the state management, he was not at all forgetful of the prime duty of the life. Such was the case with other Rajarshis, saintly king like Maharaj Yudhishthir and Maharaj Parikshit. They were all exemplary personalities on account of their being alert in discharging their prime duty. Maharaj Khaṭvāṅga was invited by the demigods in the higher planets to fight demons, and as a king, he fought the battles to the full satisfaction of the demigods. The demigod, being fully satisfied with him, wanted to give him some benediction for material enjoyment. But Maharaj Khaṭvāṅga, being very much alert to his prime duty, inquired from the demigods about his remaining duration of life. This means that he was not an anxious to accumulate some material benedictions from the demigods, as he was to prepare himself for the next life. He was informed by the demigods, however, that his life would last only a moment longer. The king at once left the heavenly kingdom, which is always full of material enjoyment of the highest standard, and coming down to this earth, took ultimate shelter of the all-shaped personality of Godhead. He was successful in his great attempt and achieved liberation. This attempt, even for a moment, by the saintly king was successful because he was always alert to his prime duty. Maharaj Parikshit was thus encouraged by the great Śukadeva Gosvāmī, even though he had only 7 days left in his life to execute the prime duty of hearing the glories of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam by the will of the Lord. Maharaj Parikshit instantly made the great Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and the great treasure of spiritual success left by him is nicely mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Ena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vande Aham Sri Guroho Sri Yuttapada Sri Gurun Vaishnavancha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sahadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitancha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubecha Krupa Sindhube Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome to all devotees. Today we continue Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto first chapter, Canto second chapter first, the first step in God realization, Shloka 12 and 13. Here they describe about the what is the value of the prolonged life if it is not related in the searching after the supreme interest, and they giving uh, the some examples or some quotations. Śrīla Gosvāmī told, then Markandeya Purana, Viṣṇu-yāmala Tantra from Jīva Gosvāmī told, and then describing again according to shloka number 10 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, 41 shloka. Yat yat vibhuti mat sattvam Srimat urjitam eva va tat tat eva agachatvam mama teja ansha sambhavam. Then 13 shloka they describe about the giving the example of the Khaṭvāṅga Rishi, how they ask demigods the duration of his life, and when they told only one moment is remaining, they turant they go coming in on Prithvi, and they taking the shelter of the supreme personality of Godhead. The Prabhuji will tell us nicely in detail. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Vancha
Krishna.
kalpatarubhya kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So basically, what we are understanding today is the value of even a moment in Krishna consciousness. If we were to summarize what we are about to discuss, it's that it is always better to live a single moment with full Krishna consciousness than to live hundreds of years in ignorance. And that is what Śukadeva Gosvāmī ji is telling Parikshit Maharaj. He's telling what is the value of a prolonged life if it is wasted, if it is inexperienced by years in this world. It is always better that we live a moment which is full of consciousness, because that one moment can give us that, what I'll say, impetus, the start in our journey to search after the supreme interest. And then to prove this point, he gives the example of recently King Khaṭvāṅga, who, when he was informed that the duration of his remaining life would only be a moment more, he immediately freed himself from all material activities and simply took shelter of the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the value of a moment in Krishna consciousness. But then that requires our ability to practice that when that moment comes, we should have been surrendered to the lotus feet of Krishna. Śrīla Gosvāmī ji explains that this human life is meant for self-realization, not for prolonged sense gratification like trees and animals. Bahunam janmanam ante. After many births, we get this human form of life. So it is important that we utilize it in the right manner for Athato Brahma Jigyasa. Prabhupada ji gives the reference to Viṣṇu-yāmala Tantra, which is in fact quoted by Jīva Gosvāmī ji also, that even a sinful man is liberated if he is able to chant the holy name of the Lord. And we have the examples. Jagai Mithai, Jagai Madhai. They were the worst of the sinners that could ever exist. But the moment they got mercy of Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they took to the holy name and they were liberated. So that is the power of a holy name. But then we have to be careful against offenses to the holy name. Yesterday we saw the 10 important offenses to the holy name which can happen, and how we should be careful. Now, amongst those 10, Prabhupada ji quotes 3 from Markandeya Puran again to re-emphasize. And one is, we should respect a devotee. We should never blaspheme devotee nor hear the blasphemy of a devotee. It is a grave offense. We saw yesterday also, Vaishnava Prada, the biggest offense. Even Krishna does not forgive a Vaishnava Prada. So we have to be very careful. And that is why we told yesterday that whoever be in your circle, a friend, a foe, a relative, a colleague, do not criticize. Do not say anything to hurt him or her, because we don't know whether he had taken a Krishna name. Because even if once he has taken a Krishna as a name, then he is a devotee. So we have to be very careful in our conduct with everyone. Second, which Prabhupada ji reiterates, is about equating Krishna's name with demigods' names. That is also an offense, because Krishna name and Krishna, they are not different from each other. So we have to be careful. And thirdly, we should never use the holy name for material gain. It is highly sinful. Very sinful. Prabhuji talks of people who take holy name and engage in sinister activities. That is the biggest sin. Ours is not a culture of Sunday to Sunday. No. Ours is a culture of right from even before we were in this material body to a time thereafter. So scriptures give us warning. Scriptures tell us it is better to sacrifice one's life than to hear blasphemy against devotees and Krishna. And secondly, scriptures tell us offenders to holy name are never excused. Because everything, whatever we can think of, comes directly from Krishna. Everything belongs to Krishna. Whatever we talk about, whatever we think, whatever we see, everything is Krishna. Yat yat vibhuti matsatvam Srimat urjitam eva va tat tat eva avagachatvam mamatejah ansha sambhavam. Krishna says that know that all opulent, beautiful, glorious creations spring from but a spark of my splendor. So whatever beauty we see, it all belongs to whom? To Krishna. So whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we think, everything is noted by Krishna. So we have to be very, very careful in all our deeds, and especially in Kali Yuga. We have to be all the more careful. Any extraordinary opulence is just a fragmental spark of Krishna's infinite energy. And so, envy of Krishna blinds many from recognizing his supremacy. And for that, we know the example of Pundrik Maharaj, Paundraka. Paundraka, who was a false king, and he imitated Krishna. But then, when the time came, Krishna used his Sudarshan Chakra and he completely beheaded him. So, the real success, as was mentioned by Krishna himself, is in remembering Krishna. अभ्यास योग युक्तेन चेतसा न अन्यगामिना परमं पुरुषं दिव्यं याति पार्थ अनुचिन्तयन्. He who meditates on me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, O Partha, is sure to reach me. So the success of life is to constantly remember Krishna. And for that, which is easily possible, is chanting. So engaging the ear, tongue, mind in Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the mystic meditation which is recommended. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So it is very important that we fix our mind on Krishna always, not on academic or material success. Because a successful life is one which is centered around devotional service, family values based on bhakti, and the attitude to help others connect to Krishna. And the ultimate success, as we saw in the first canto, second chapter, sixth verse, is Savai Punsam Paro Dharma. Real success is unmotivated, uninterrupted love of Godhead, and that is bhakti. When discussions were happening on these shlokas, His Holiness Harivilas Maharaj, he also quotes Chaitanya Charitamrit, Adi Leela, regarding Yoga Maya and Mahabaya, that is divine illusion and spiritual love. So he says, Yoga Maya covers the Lord and his pastimes from the unqualified. So the Ras Leela appears immoral to mundane materialists, but is the highest expression of spiritual love. In Bhagavad Gita 7.25, Krishna makes similar comments regarding how everything is covered by Maya. He says, Naham Prakash Sarvasya Yoga Maya Samavruta Mudoyam na Vijanati Lokah Mam Ajam Avyayam. Lord descends to attract fallen souls back to eternal living service. Because he is not manifest to the unintelligent, he is covered by Yoga Maya, his internal potency. So what is important is transcending the social morality in love for Krishna. Gopis abandoned social duties for Krishna. This shows that pure love for Krishna transcends dharma and societal norms. Rupa Goswami ji wants, if you are attached to worldly pleasures, please do not see Govinda at Keshi Ghat. Because if you see Govinda at Keshi Ghat, you will lose all your material attachments. And then in Adi Leela, 5th chapter, we understand the importance of worship of deity as well. Because Lord's form is not different from himself. So those who consider the deity as statue are hellbound. This is a quote from Padma Purana. Even Shankaracharya accepted deity worship, Panchopasana method. And impersonalists who reject deity worship are offenders. The conclusion which was made in that lecture was that the worship of Ucha Vigraha is essential and faith in the deity form brings one closer to the Supreme, so that When that rightful moment comes, we are in a position to remember Krishna. And King Khaṭvāṅga's example is all the more re-emphasizing that a moment well spent is all that is required. Even one has only one moment to live, that time can be used to attain liberation if it is dedicated to devotional surrender. King Khaṭvāṅga, on learning that he had only moments to live, gave up all material duties and surrendered to Lord. Thus he taught everyone that human life is meant for preparing for the next life, not just for material gain. That is something which we should always keep in mind. It's very, very fortunate that we have got this body today. So we have to use it and understand the value of time. So if we were to summarize the discussions today, we understand the value of a moment, that it is better one moment in bhakti than long life in ignorance. In opulence of Krishna, all beauty and power comes from Krishna. True success is always remembering Krishna. Ultimate goal is pure bhakti, unmotivated, uninterrupted. Divine illusion, Yogmaya hides a lot from non-devotees. Gopi's love for Krishna transcends dharma. Archavikra is not different from Krishna, and preparation for death by surrender to Lord is most important. So these are the important takeaways for the discussion today. So let us pray to Lord that we get the right directions and we are able to transcend all the material impediments which can come on our way and utilize our life, even if it is a moment's left, to remember Krishna, to be detached from all material engagements. Thank you.